Welcome along, fellow time travelers. This time around, we're going to travel back in time to check out the legendary Moorcrest Mansion in Hollywood. So, sit back and pour yourself a cup of coffee, or a tankard of tea, or a mug of mead, or a chalice of cider, or a flagon filled with any beverage of your choice, and join me around the campfire. Before we begin, will you kindly hit that like button and share this video with others? And if you want to listen to more interesting videos that I've produced that are commercial free, please do me a favor and become a member of my channel. Now imagine, nestled within the Hollywood Hills at 6147 Temple Hill Drive in Los Angeles, perched upon a hill overlooking Beechwood Drive in Beechwood Canyon, is a 6,432 square foot home named Moorcrest. Because of its incredible size and amazing location, many passersby assume that it is a public building rather than a private residence. Some locals refer to it as the Temple. Others refer to it as the Charlie Chaplin House because he rented it while waiting for his own mansion to be built in Beverly Hills. And Charlie Chaplin was not the only famous resident to live there. The house was also owned by the parents of actress Mary Astor. They bought it with money that they skimmed from her salaries. The house was built in 1921 by real estate developer Henry Hochner and his wife Marie, both of whom were Theosophites and were part of the utopian Crotona colony in Beechwood Canyon. The Crotona colony was one of the theosophical centers in the United States during the early part of the 20th century. Theosophy teaches that the purpose of human life is spiritual emancipation and claims that the human soul undergoes reincarnation upon bodily death according to a process of karma. Though the colony began in Hollywood in 1912, the colony soon relocated to Ojai, California in 1926. Where it operates today as the Crotona Institute of Theosophy. Moorcrest was designed by Marie Bernard Smith Russick Hochner. She was one of the founders of the Crotona colony. She had no formal architectural training, but she designed several buildings for the Theosophist community. She studied music at Mills College, and she became a Wagnerian opera singer whose career led her to major cities in the United States and throughout Europe. After retiring from the stage, she lived on the Upper East Side of New York, and then she moved to Paris. She became a Theosophist in 1898, and she relocated to the Theosophical Society's headquarters in India in 1906. While living for 4 years in India, she immersed herself in the philosophies of Theosophy and took an interest in design and architecture. She then moved to Southern California to help found the Crotona colony, which broke ground in 1912. And while there, she co-founded the Temple of the Rosy Cross. Even though Marie designed a number of houses for Theosophists, Moorcrest became her most famous creation. The house has spectacular stained glass windows, and there are magnificent marble baseboards. The house has hand-painted frescoes. There are elaborate mosaic tiles. The atrium has a glass dome ceiling, and detailed patterns have been painted on the walls and the ceilings of many of the rooms. Because of the relocation of the colony, the Hochners did not make Moorcrest their home, so they rented it to Charlie Chaplin. And there was an urban legend that Chaplin filled the pool with seawater and that he trucked in white sand and put it all around it to kind of create his own little beach. After Charlie Chaplin moved out in 1925, Moorcrest was sold to Mr. and Mrs. Otto H. Langhank with their daughter Lucille. Lucille was soon renamed Mary Astor. And as you probably know, she was an American actress whose career began in silent films when she was a teenager. But she may be best remembered for her performance in The Maltese Falcon in 1941. Unfortunately, Moorcrest was foreclosed upon and sold at auction in 1934 for $21,500. That was 1/10 of its estimated value. Not much is known about Moorcrest from the 1930s, the 1940s, the 1950s, and even in the 1960s. And all that's really known about Moorcrest from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s is that the house was occupied by a couple and their son. And it's been said that in the late 1990s, Moorcrest fell into terrible disrepair. And the amount of neglect was astonishing. In fact, I read that the grounds had gone unwatered for so long that many of the mature trees in the garden had died. The mansion was sold in 1996 for $530,000. And it was sold in 1999 for $900,000. Thankfully, Moorcrest was restored by its new owner, and in 2006, it was listed for just over $6 million. And it was relisted 1 year later, in 2007, for nearly $7.5 million. Moorcrest was purchased for $6.25 million in March of 2014. Its new owners were musician Joanna Newsom and her husband, actor Andy Samberg. And they live there as of the date of this recording. And so this concludes this episode of Historic Homes and the story of Moorcrest. If you live or lived in Moorcrest, or you know somebody who does or did, will you kindly let me know? I would be absolutely thrilled to accept an invitation to swing by anytime for tea and scones, or coffee and muffins, or whatever you like. If you have any thoughts about the subject matter, please put those in the comments below and share what's on your mind. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and share it. Kindly give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Once again, please become a member and you can get access to all sorts of exclusive content, commercial free. If you have trouble relaxing or sleeping, kindly do me a favor and check out my sponsor in the link below. Their products work great. Please kindly do yourself a favor and go to a local shelter and adopt a cat or a dog or some other furry friend. You'll be very glad that you did. Until next time, I wish you safe travels on all your journeys.